Incroyable.
C'est bien là. Ils sont heureux.
Mais ça coûte cher chaque fois. C'est bien, hein? Ils ont quel âge?
Bah là, ils doivent avoir 1 an à peu près.
Ok.
1 an, 1 an et demi.
Et le coq, il est où?
Là-bas,
Il est là?
là.
Ah, il est là.
Et l'autre, il est perché là-haut.
Ah ouais. Oh, là.
Là au milieu, là, c'est le coq.
Ouais.
Le rouge.
Et tu crois que ça sert quelques jours avant les eaux arrivent? Normalement?
Bah là, ils sont bien là.
Oui.
Donc d'ici vendredi, j'en ai. Là, j'en avais 12. 16. J'en ai récupéré 16, mais j'avais les 4 de avant. Donc ça fait 12 poules qu'on pondit. D'ici ce week-end, ouais, ils vont se mettre avec tout ce monde.
Parce que j'ai quelques amis à Paris qui ont envie à goûter les eaux d'ici. Oui, oui.
Et j'ai un gars de Forté, moi, il a comparé un œuf du magasin et un œuf à moi. Et il dit la couleur n'était pas la même dans la peau.
Oh, ça c'est vrai. C'est clair. So Jojo came around like a proud dad to explain that the chickens had been delivered, the pool, and he was very excited. So I said, "Oh, come and show. Let me have a look round. I'll do a quick video." So we walked over to his, and as you saw in the previous video, he's taken possession of 120 chickens, and initially one more cock, and he's going to buy another 4 or 5 cocks, and I think there's 1 cock for every 20 chickens, something like that, apparently. So I was just asking him how old they were, what they cost, and stuff like that, and when they would start laying, etc., etc. So that's sort of the conversation that's just prior to this. It's the same footage, but I've just turned off the sound on this one. This is just explaining what we were sort of chatting about, nothing super major. And he was saying that somebody done a comparison between sort of a supermarket egg and one of his, and he said that there's no different, there's no comparison. The colour of the yolks are much better. The eggs are bigger. And just asking him what they would be eating and stuff. So he obviously supplies, they can sort of work their way around the gardens anyway, which has got sort of substantial fields and that. And also he gives them grain to eat. So they're well looked after. And he's hoping to have many hundreds of eggs per day, as you'd imagine. So I also said that I've got lots of friends in Paris that are eager to try these eggs. So that's what he's going to be. I'm going to be one of his customers, along with, obviously, he's got lots of other people that he's going to be selling to. And so that was that. And then a bit of shenanigans. So going back to the barn and fields. So chatting with my neighbours, sort of a little congregation of us today. And it turns out that he'd, prior to sort of offering it to me, he'd offered it to the prof. They'd offered it to the prof for €45,000 and said, but actually, I'll come down to 35,000 for you. So, and obviously the prof wasn't interested in that, so he's like, no. And then Jean-Claude was saying that he'd offered it to him for €25,000. So he just seems to be like plucking figures out of the air, as far as this is concerned. And obviously, well, he just felt that was too much. And the prof was saying, I then said, obviously, I'd offered 15,000, and it had been accepted, and we're moving forward with it. And the prof was saying, I'm really pleased that you got it, that we're not having to have another sort of neighbour coming in that's going to be taking it over, or somebody that obviously wouldn't be living close by. It would have been just somebody that needed a small field and a barn. And then we were just sort of throwing some ideas out into the air about possibly we might start like a little brocante, sort of a 1 day a week or something like that, and just see how that gets on. The field probably going to try go down the lines of sort of glamping as far as that's concerned, and maybe look to grow some crops. I actually asked Chat GTP, and they were suggesting growing garlic. Personally, I detest garlic. I can't stand the smell of it. But apparently, it's quite a profitable crop, and so that was sort of one of the funnier suggestions that Chat GTP came up with. So that was that. But anyway, chatting to the neighbours. Now, some of the neighbours are quite enthusiastic about there being a brocante, and others weren't so. I'm not going to go into who was thinking it was good and who was thinking it bad. But obviously, as I said, I understand there would be concerns about, lots if there was a fair amount of people turning up. But if we limit it to a sort of a 1 day a week or 2 days a week maximum, then that should sort of placate the problem, hopefully, a wee bit. So we'll wait and see on that. Obviously, I'm not looking to ruffle people's feathers here, but one or two of the neighbours actually like, well, we'd be happy to sort of help, and that. So it's quite a nice little community we've got here, and obviously everybody's got their own views on it, which is totally understandable. And it's just funny to hear the shenanigans that were going on in and around the barn. So the prof did say as well he felt that no, it was closer to sort of a realistic price for the barn, and I did say from my point of view it still felt a wee bit high, but there's only so much sort of piss you can take out of someone, isn't there, as far as what they're anticipating getting and ultimately what they've been offered and what they've accepted. So I did also actually speak to an immobilier or an estate agent that had actually done the energy reports on the house back in the day when it was up for sale on behalf of the notaires. And he was saying that he's not entirely sure that the studio renovation is a good idea. But he's happy that I'm buying the barn because that ties in better with the overall sort of property. So anyway, that was Jojo's chickens. That was a bit of chat about the shenanigans of the guy selling the barn. Obviously, I'll keep you posted on as we move forward with this when we finally sign on it and everything else. And I'm sure you like to, as I do, like to hear a wee bit of gossip from time to time, things that go on and on in the world. So anyway, thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll be catching you on the next video.